students, welcome to Narayana live classes. Today, as a part of our assignment, we are going to discuss the key based on the writing skills story. Students, I know very well that you are habituated to write stories in the classroom level. Once again, we are going to discuss the format of writing a story. What are the components should be used in writing a story? So let us start. So first of all, we have to keep in mind that there should be a title for a story, an appropriate title, and the title should reflect the total story, or the theme of the story should be reflected in the title. The title should be short and crispy. First of all, we have to write down the title. The story in the format, title is important. It should be short and crispy and should reflect to the total story. The second component in writing a story is the plot. The logical sequences of the story should be seen in the plot. It should have a beginning, it should have a middle part, and it should have an ending part. The three components should be there in the plot. And this plot should also have the exposition, conflict, the rise of action, climax, falling out of action, and resolution. So this plot should go like this. First of all, the first part is the exposition. The second part is the conflict. The third part is the rise of action. The fourth part is climax. Falling out of action. Last one is resolution. So these parts you should have in writing the story. First of all, the exposition. The introduction part, how you are getting into the story, how you are going to arouse interest. Next, conflict. There should be a conflict. Nature versus man, man versus man, man versus nature, etc. Conflict. There should be a conflict. Then the rise of the action. You should arouse interest. You should attract the readers. And you should go to the climax of the story, highest point. After the climax, we have to go to the falling of the action. And finally, completion of the story, that is nothing but the resolution. So you should have the plot, these things, means the starting point, the middle point, and the conclusion part. Now the third one we are going to see, is the theme. The theme of the story. The theme of the story should not miss. What question is given to you? You should not go away from the theme. Okay? The fourth one are the characters. You have to see all the characters are designed in a proper way. Okay, all the characters should be involved in the story. They should have their own importances. Characters. The fifth one is mood and setting. So you have to set the mood, the location, the time, the climatic condition. All those things should be there in the mood of setting. Time, place, weather conditions, everything should be described. The next one is the language what you are going to use. The language, what language you are going to use. So after you mood and setting, you have to go work with the language. What language? And what type of first person or second person or third person you are going to use. All these things you have to keep in mind, and you have to conclude your story. You should not deviate from the main theme. You should not beat about the bush. You should be very clear with what you are going to write. You should be very, very perfect in your uses of language. First person or second person. You can use the similes. You can use metaphors. You can use apostrophic and direct speech also you can use. So according to the sense, according to the story, according to the need, you are going to use all those things. Once again, let us recap. A story should have a title, a plot, a theme, characters, mood and setting. Now let us see few things. Two questions are there in today's assignment and I am going to read these two questions for you. First one. Going to Mumbai by train to attend the marriage of a friend. Traffic jam. Reached the railway station late. Boarded a wrong train. Reached after 2 hours. Here there is a small story, incomplete story with hints. And you have to create a appropriate title. You have to create a plot. And you have to be with the theme. What is the theme? You have to see. And you have to create some characters. Language what you are going to use. And you have to develop the story. It should have a beginning, a middle and an end. Okay. So by using these hints you have to develop a story not more than 150 words. 120 to 150 words you can go with the story. And the language, the writing, everything you have to keep in mind in a proper way. Okay, so going to Mumbai by train to attend the marriage of a friend. So what is the main thing? What is the theme? He is going to attend a marriage of a friend. Where? Mumbai. So he started. In the middle there was a traffic jam. And he could not reach the station, railway station on time. In a hurry, he boarded the wrong train and he was late for the marriage. 2 hours late he had reached there. So you have to create some story. You have to create some characters. You have to name the characters. You have to give the weather, conditions, everything, whatever I have discussed. Everything. And you have to write. And you have, first of all, the foremost thing you have to do, you have to select an appropriate title for the story. And that story should arouse interest among the readers. It should reflect the total story, the theme of the story. The other things, that is in your hands, how you are going to write in your own style. The next one, let us see. Another question number 2 is another one. Satish was standing in the balcony watching the last rays of the sun. Loud and angry voices in the street. He heard some loud and angry voices. Below distracted his attention. He ran down the stairs to see what had happened. So one day a man or a boy named Satish was standing in his balcony and watching the last rays of the sun. Meanwhile he heard some loud voices of some students or someone is fighting down. So to his curiosity, he wanted to know what is going to happen over there. He ran down the stairs. There he found some students, two boys are fighting with each other. So he wanted to stop them. And you can continue the story. You have to complete the story by adding your own imaginary or fiction, whatever you want to say, you have to add and you have to complete the story. Don't forget to put an appropriate title. And your title should not deviate from the main theme of the story. And you have to create the plot. And the plot Okay, what are those? Exposition, conflict, rise of action, climax, falling off action, and resolution. All these components you should have. All these 6 components you should have. And theme, characters you will create. You have to name the characters, and you have to develop the story. You should arouse interest, and it should be funny as well as serious sometimes, and you should have be within the limits of the theme. Okay students, I hope you have noted all the points, and I hope you can write a proper and excellent story based on the 2 themes what are given to you. Thank you. Have a nice time.